Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons. Make sure to subscribe, guys. We are trying to hit 50,000 subscribers until the end of the year, so help me out there and let's get going. So we had last week the confirmation basically of the Gripen that it is going to come during this year, and I wanted to talk about some of the options that France actually have, specifically the Mirage 4000. A lot of people are considering this aircraft, and I wanted to talk a little bit about it to see if it actually would be a good option or not, in my opinion. Okay, so yeah, let's get going. So the Mirage 4000 is an aircraft that it was developed in the 70s, late 70s, to be fulfilling a role of a more advanced aircraft, fourth generation aircraft, similar to what an F-15 is, or Su-27, something like that. It was meant to be just a super Mirage 2000, basically. So a Mirage 2000 was going to be the light fighter, and the 4000 would be the main, like, air superiority, multi-role, can do anything, large fighter that it's very expensive, and just consider maybe a heavy fighter, right? The performance of it was amazing, actually. I think it's clear that it is better than the Mirage 2000. It uses two M53 engines instead of one, which is the case of the 2000, and with that it can reach 305 meters per second of climb. So it is a very, very good aircraft, very fast. I mean, Mach 2.2, 2.3. The range is increased from the Mirage 2000. It was used with composites, fly-by-wire. The objective was to carry any type of air-to-ground weapon, guided and stuff. Of course, be able to do interceptions as well with BVR weaponry. Initially, the idea was to use the RDM radar. So this is the initial radar for the Mirage 2000 that was later upgraded to the RDI that we have in game right now in the 2000 CS5, right? And but the idea was there to actually add the RDI as well later in its life. The objective of the Mirage 4000 initially was, especially it was made from Dassault, right? But for the Saudis and the Iranians. It was later, things were problematic in Iran, and of course the Saudis, after the Reagan administration started, they managed to buy the F-15. So it basically was made into one prototype, and then it was cancelled. It was used for a while as a technology demonstrator. It is an aircraft that has an amazing performance, but it was later cancelled. So it is an aircraft that, to be honest, to be really, really honest, it falls between the Yak-41 and the F-16AJ that we have in game. It is not fully accepted into service as the Yak-41 was, without having the full service capabilities, but still it was more in development and was more advanced in that sense than the F-16AJ. So it is kind of a middle between there. You can say, for example, the argument that the Yak-41 is a greater example to be in the tech tree because it was accepted by the Soviet service, but then the country collapsed. So, I mean, it was accepted, so it had more prototypes. So the service was kind of already beginning, right? But you can also say, of course, we already have the F-16AJ, so why not have the Mirage 4000 if it was a properly built aircraft, right? So it is, in the argument, it is kind of a stretch. It is not a fully production aircraft like the Mirage 2000, but it's not that big of a deal if you compare it to other aircraft that we already have in game, right? So the idea of having it could be a thing. Of course, there is another minor stretch that you need to consider, and that is the radar. Okay, the radar was meant to be using the RDM, and later they confirmed that they were thinking about using the RDI, which was already in development as well. So yeah, if we got the RDM, it would be significantly inferior to the Mirage 2000 right now in the game, so it wouldn't be better to actually fight the other aircraft. Of course, it would carry more missiles, but the missiles would be basically the same. Apparently, it carries two S530Ds, right? And then like 6 Magics or something like that. It was kind of crazy how many magics it could carry. Magic 2s, right? Later in its life, of course. Initially the Magic 1, but later the Magic 2. And I think it's just kind of it's not even that good in that sense. If it's realistic, it would be inferior to the Mirage 2000, I think, in the BVR engagements, and overall it would be problematic with the radar in general, right? The performance would be better than the 2000, specifically because having two engines using more composites, even carbon fiber as materials for the aircraft, made it so that the thrust rate of the aircraft is way better. And of course he has the DEFAs as well, so the performance of the aircraft would be amazing in a dogfight, at the same time that it would be worse than the Mirage 2000 in the BVR. If they do this stretch and use the RDI, if it's added with the RDI, which is the radar for the Mirage 2000 that we have in game, it would mean that it is basically the same in the BVR. Still doesn't fix the problem that the Mirage or the French Tech 3 have of being able to do this type of engagement and also do the dogfights like the other nations have with MiG-29, even the F-16. So yeah, it doesn't help very much. Mostly, even if you think about if the Gripen is going to be added, we are going to see even more modern additions to the game, more 90s additions to the game, right? So a Mirage 4000 with a little bit of a lacking BVR capability even compared to the Mirage 2000 would be not that good, to be honest. I think it would be alright at best. And that's already a stretch, because I don't think the original RDM was even properly added, and it wasn't like tested with weapons and systems. So even though the radar was already going to be produced, and also you can say that about the Yak-41, for example, as well, that didn't do any live test of ammunition as well, but the systems and the radars were already being produced and used in other aircraft as well. So it would be the same kind of stretch, but it is indeed a stretch that it wouldn't bring anything for the table, in my opinion, for the French. So, do we have any other options to be added? I think yes. I think especially and specifically if we are going to have the Gripen, we can have the Mirage 2005F. It would be, yes, lacking a little bit in some areas, still, but overall it is just a very, very big improvement over the 2000C to be facing these 90s aircraft if they're going to be added. So, more weapon systems, in a general sense more power as well, more missiles, better missiles. It can carry the Mika, obviously it's an amazing missile. And yeah, if we're going to get the Gripen, we might get the Fox 3 90s missile, so the M120s and stuff, and R77s. So even the Mika with the radar guidance would be able to be added, right? And if that is not the case, maybe just add with the IR version of it. If it's too OP, maybe a tuned down version, they do this sometimes, to France to actually have a fighting chance against this aircraft. I think it would be a way better option, just due to the fact that the Mirage 4000 isn't the biggest improvement over the 2000 as people think. It's just it is a better advanced aircraft, but not if we're talking about the 90s Gripens and MiG-29s and F-16s that we had at that time, right? So the 2005F would make a lot more sense, in my opinion, than the 4000. Doesn't mean that the 4000 shouldn't be added. I think it would be an amazing event vehicle, or even premium if they want to. It's an incredible aircraft that could be like that, but even for the Tech 3, but not as a stopgap or an improvement over, or a big improvement even, for the French Tech 3 over the Mirage 2000C. I think it's just alright in that sense, and the 2005F would basically be a lot better to the Tech 3 itself. I would buy a Mirage 4000 as a premium, or as an event I would get it, but as a Tech 3 I would probably, of course I would fly it, but I don't think it's capable of dealing with Gripens and 90s, MiGs and F-16s. I think it would lack a lot. So yeah, bear that in mind, that it is a very fun aircraft and the performance is amazing, but it is still 70s to 80s technology. It's not anything really modern like the Gripen that was confirmed. So yeah, Mirage 2000F, 5F, it's probably a better option. But this is my opinion. Leave it in the comments if you think that the Mirage 4000 is better than I think it is. If you think that the Mirage 4000, the 4000 would be just a better overall aircraft to be added for France. And if it is a stretch or not. Do you think it is a stretch of having this type of aircraft in the game? I think it depends on the country. France could really get it, like could use it, something like that. So yeah, you'd be fine, I think. But anyway, make sure to subscribe and I see you guys on the next one. So bye guys, see ya.